Wait, I'm sorry.
Yeah, mine is.
Yeah. Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, by Hashem, Shai, by Hashem, Kakadash, that will honor the elders and apostles of GMS that rule well. Peace, citation, all the after four corner teaching with sincerity. This is Tasha Huama, here with the brother
Rock Shalom
of the GMS Dallas camp, coming at you with a lesson. Lord's willing, this is edifying unto the hope of the elect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're just gonna be flowing in the spirit, you know, and Abarah, once again, I pray this is edifying to the hope of the elect. Could you pull Amos chapter 3, verse 2?
Come. This is the book of Amos, chapter 3, and verse 2. Excuse me. Amos chapter 3 and verse 2, and it reads, it says, you mind if I read verse 1?
Go ahead.
This is Amos chapter 3 and verse 1. It says, hear this word that the Lord hath spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt.
So with that starting point right there, you can see where this lesson is going. Okay, we're talking to you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans of Negro descent. Okay, we ain't talking to any other nation on this video. All right, because the Most High has a controversy with the nation of Israel because they transgressed His laws. All right, Baruch Shah.
Amos 3 and 2, it says, you only have known, it says, you only have I known of all the families of the earth, therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. So
the nation of Israel is about to get punished because they chose to go against the ways of the Yahweh Shemel Shai, as they have been upon this earth to this day. Okay, and the captivity of the nation of Israel, them being brought over here on cargo slave ships, because this place, Babylon the Great, wasn't for our betterment. It wasn't for us to get on a level. It was for us to serve out our captivity, all right, and to seek Yahweh by Shemel Shai, in all His ways.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but you niggas, or you 2/3 think that this time is a come up, when really it's a time to lean in and gain wisdom and understanding from how by Shemel Shai. But did you have a precept about Shai?
Yeah, I do. This is Baruch 3, and verse 8.
Yeah.
It says, ooh, boy.
Yeah, it got some meat in there.
I'll read Baruch chapter 3, and I'll start at verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
It says, O Lord Almighty, thou God of Israel, hear now the prayers of the dead Israelites and their children, which have sinned before thee, and hearken not unto the voice of thee, their God, for the which cause these plagues cleave unto us.
Yeah.
Remember not the iniquities of our forefathers, but think upon thy power and thy name now at this time.
Because the forefathers went astray and started to do odious works. All right, worshiping other gods. It talks about that in that Ezekiel. How Israel was doting about, with these other nations. But you have more on that.
Baruch 3 and 6, it says, for thou art the Lord our God, and thee, O Lord, will pray. Oh, Slaki.
Yeah.
Baruch 3 and 6, it says, for thou art the Lord our power, and thee, O Lord, will be praised. and for this cause has put thy fear in our hearts, to the intent that we should call upon thy name.
And continue it out, but
it says, and praise thee in our captivity.
Because over here, right now, we're in Babylon the Great, serving at a harsh captivity. Our captivity over here has not ended, okay? Because we have the heathen, and Esau Edom, chiefly Esau Edom, oppressing us, all right, and making us to howl, making us to call out for His name, making the elect, the 12,000 out of each tribe, and the innumerable multitude to call out for the name of the Yahweh Shemel Shai, because we have realized that we fucked up. All right, but
I got something. This is John chapter 8, and I'm going to read verse 31 and 32. It says, then said Yahushua to those Jews which believed on him, if ye continue in my word, then ye are my disciples indeed, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
See, you got it, bro.
I was just gonna say, because like we're reading in Baruch 3, we're still in captivity here in America, still in Babylon the Great.
All
right, Matazarium, double straits. All right, and the only freedom that we have is basically
this word,
the free course of the word going forth, and the spirit going forth. Which even there's about to be a famine of the word.
Yep. So you better get it down.
Right. So there's a sense of urgency when it comes to hearing this word, but just making the point of, if you expecting to have any type of, sovereignty or leeway on this side, that ain't the time we in. We still under the curses. We still in captivity, and that's why we're making our bodies a living sacrifice and prophesying.
And that's my next point, because the 1/3 and the innumerable multitude realize that our King, Yahweh Shemel Shai, is the one that bears rule over us.
Right.
All right. So, Baruch Shai, did you finish that out?
Yeah, I think that was it.
All right. Pull me the Sirach chapter 17, verse 18. Baruch Shai.
Sirach 17:18.
Yeah. Sirach 17:18. Because these other nations that we alluded to, whenever the Most High set up this whole world, he put a ruler over every people except Israel, because Yahweh Shemel Shai is our ruler and king. All right, so
yeah, this is Sirach chapter 17 and verse 17.
Oh, you'll start up.
Yeah, because it makes the point that you just said. It says, for in the division of the nations of the whole earth, he have set a ruler over every people, but Israel is the Lord's portion.
So Yahweh Shemel Shai is the Lord's portion. So that means that he can judge all the weightier matters, because for one, he created you, and two, he has set you apart. He has made Israel holy. Baruch Shai.
It says, verse 18, it says, whom being his firstborn, he nourisheth with discipline, and giving him the light of his love, doth he not forsake him.
Now he nourished with that discipline, all right, because that correction is needed, because as you can tell, Jake goes off constantly. It's just like that Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12 and 2, going to chastise thou them by little and little, to the point where they repent. Loosely paraphrasing. All right, because that's what the Most High does. He puts us in a position to where we have to call upon His name for our salvation.
Precept.
Bible shot.
This is Hebrews 12:5.
There you go.
It says, "And ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as children. My son, despise not the chastening of the Lord, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him. For whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth."
See? Yeah, how about you, man? Shai is a just judge, all right? He's not going to be overbearing over you.
Yep.
But you got something else?
No, that was it.
All right, can we get back to that Sirach?
Sirach chapter 17 and verse 18, it says, "Whom being his firstborn he nourisheth with discipline, and giving him the light of his love doth not forsake him. Therefore all their works are as the sun before him, and his eyes are continually upon their ways."
So everything that we do, these angels are taking record of it. All right, everything is being taken record of and notated in a book. All right, so as we go through our daily lives, know that Yahweh Shem Shai is thoroughly searching us out in our day-to-day trials.
Right.
All right.
Keep going.
That was the point.
Okay.
We could jump to that Baruch 1:17.
Come. You said Baruch 1:17?
Bible shot. Because I want to get that point where the people was crying out for the elect to pray for this.
This is Baruch chapter 1 and verse 17. It says, "For we have sinned before the Lord and disobeyed him, and have not hearkened unto the voice of the Lord our God, to walk in the commandments that he gave us openly."
See the people of that time, and a little backstory. This is Jeremiah. Baruch's Jeremiah's writings. But Baruch was Jeremiah's cousin, and he was his scribe. So this is talking about what was going on during the Babylonian captivity. All right, the Judah, Benjamin, and Levi wasn't following the ways of Yahweh Shemel Shai, and went off. So that's why they were lamenting to Jeremiah to about their escapades. But you got it out.
Come. It says, Baruch chapter 1 and verse 19, it says, "Since the day that the Lord brought our forefathers out of the land of Egypt unto the present day, we have been disobedient unto the Lord our God, and we have been negligent in not hearing his voice."
They chose not to hear the law, statutes, and commandments, or the ways of Yahweh Shemel Shai. They fanned their hands. All right. Now they're coming back, trying to have a discussion so that Yahweh Shemel Shai can quit jacking them up, because he put them in captivity under the Babylonians, like as in time us here in Edom's kingdom, Babylon the Great.
If I get some.
Bible shot.
This is Matthew chapter 17 in verse 5. It says, and this is going to the account where Yahweh was transfigured on the mountain in front of Peter, James, and John, which is basically like the inner circle of the apostles. You know, like when you read about the disciples who became apostles in Acts 1, and it lists them all in a specific order. Peter, James, John, and then it does the same thing here. It does that for a reason. You know what I mean? Showing that there's rank, there's levels. You know what I'm saying? With Yahushua being obviously at the top of that. But this is Acts chapter 1, and it says, or not Acts chapter 1, Matthew 17, right? In verse 5, it says, while he yet spake, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them, right? A chariot. Mm-hmm. It says, and behold, a voice out of the cloud, which said, this is my beloved son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear ye him. Mm-hmm. Just because that precept in Baruch talked about how we've been negligent in hearing Yahweh's voice, and who is the Heavenly Father's voice, Yahushua.
Yahushua.
The word. Not just going into the Old Testament and telling you that you need to be wearing fringes. No. Pointing you to a specific entity, person. Yeah. I just want to make that point.
Well, because Yahushua, him and the Most High isn't on the same level. The Most High is greater.
Right.
All right, but he's still up there. He's second in command.
Yep. Image of the invisible God.
Yep. Like case in point, right now, just like it says in the Revelations chapter 5, he's sitting on the throne. Yahushua is dictating and judging the earth as it is, and he is our attorney. He's the middleman.
Yep.
So the middleman has stepped up to become the man. That's going to judge your ass because you're going off.
Yep.
Yep. What you got?
Keep going on Baruch 1.
Yeah.
This is Baruch 1 in chapter 20. It says, wherefore the evils cleaved unto us, and the curse.
Yep. So the curse is that we still have to this day. Yeah. Inflammation. That's a curse. All right. You can read about that in Deuteronomy, but case in point, all the other curses that you can read about in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 14.
15 through 68.
15 through 68.
Yep. Yeah. Lord did a number on us.
Yeah, and still is.
Yep. 100%.
But hey, be of good cheer, Israel, because all these curses are gonna jump onto our enemies.
Oh.
Yep. But you got it out.
This is Baruch chapter 1 and verse 20. It says, wherefore the evils cleaved unto us, and the curse which the Lord appointed by Moses his servant at the time that he brought our forefathers out of the land of Egypt, to give us a land that floweth with milk and honey, like as it is to this day.
To this day, because that land is still over there. We are still the Most High's people because we were never casted off. All right. But in this next Exodus, it's going to be how by Shemel Shai that leads us into the promised land. All right. Via the UFOs or the chariots of Yahweh Shemel Shai, his Air Force. All right. Because really, we're the grunts. We're the ones over here doing the footwork. Okay, but how about Shemel Shai has levels? They're the Air Force. Right. But you got access. Slide here.
Yep. This is Baruch chapter 1 and verse 21. Yeah. It says, nevertheless, we have not hearkened unto the voice of the Lord our God, according unto all the words of the prophets whom he sent unto us.
Because they were killing the prophets. They didn't want to hear the word of Yahweh Shemel Shai so much that they were putting them to death.
Yep.
All right.
I didn't want you. I didn't stop you from what you're saying, bro.
Now you I'm done with that one.
Con, you don't want me to read 22?
No. Read 22 about Shai.
Con, this is Baruch chapter 1 and verse 21 and 22. It says, nevertheless, we have not hearkened unto the voice of the Lord our power, according unto all the words of the prophets whom he sent unto us. But every man followed the imagination of his own wicked heart, to serve strange gods and to do evil in the sight of the Lord our power.
And you know how about Shemel Shai corrects that, right? Through his judgments. Okay. You got a precept of Shai?
Nah.
Okay, so You know, if you can, if you continue reading in verse 2, you read the judgments that come upon the people because
Chapter 2.
yeah, read 2 and 1 because they were doing whatever they wanted to do in 22. Read 2 and 1.
Yep, this is Baruch chapter 2 and verse 1. It says, "Therefore the Lord hath made good his word."
See, he made good his word. He made sure that Jake heard it and felt it. You got it out.
Yep. It says, if I may too, like it says in 2 Peter 3, we have a more sure word of prophecy. You know, another one of the reasons I should say, you know, we go into prophecy so much is because the same way that we getting jacked up is the same way that the Lord said he getting ready to do these heathen and Esau. You know, like when you read Baruch 4 and you read the end of that. You know,
4 and 31.
So the prophecies, like the scriptures say, it's good news.
Yeah.
You know, but it's a balanced diet, so to speak. Like when the scriptures go into it being bittersweet.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how a good meal is supposed to be.
Yeah, it's gonna be sweet on your tongue, but bitter in your belly. Mm-hmm. Right, and those are those strong herbs. Right, those strong herbs like horseradish, they're sweet to the taste. Some of them are. All right, but whenever they get into your gut, you know, they get to work in purging and cleansing your body. But you got it.
Baruch 2 and 1, it says, "Therefore the Lord hath made good his word which he pronounced against us and against our judges that judged Israel, and against our kings and against our princes and against the men of Israel and Judah, to bring upon us great plagues, such as never happened under the whole heaven, as it came to pass in Jerusalem, according to the things that were written in the law of Moses."
See, so how about Shimon al-Shai? He dealt with the hierarchy. He went from the let's say Ecclesiastes chapter 40 in verse 2, how he dealt with the elites of the nation all the way down to the peasants of the nation. Everybody got it. Everybody felt that word. You finish that out in 2.
Baruch 2 and 2. It says, "To bring upon us great plagues, such as never happened under the whole heaven, as it came to pass in Jerusalem, according to the things that were written in the law of Moses."
So, according to the things that was written, so like in the book of Leviticus, you know, that was written for our learning. So we didn't do those things, but Jake did those things. Just like today, Jake's are doing the same odious works as before. So therefore, they're gonna get jacked up the same way as before. But after this jacking up, it's not gonna happen again because the laws are gonna be written into the inward parts of the elect and the 1/3. And this is gonna be a memorial never to do again, never to against Yahweh Shimon al-Shai ever again. Mm-hmm. But you got a picture of it?
I do. This is 2 Ezra 15 and verse 10 and verse 11. It says, "Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter," which is why in today's time you have these internment camps set up.
Yep.
Right. These detention centers. Right. Where you got guillotines in them.
Yep.
You know, niggas, they gonna be getting, and that includes, you know, some of the men of the Lord are gonna have to be beheaded.
Yeah.
But not all of them.
Nope.
You know what I mean? Salvation is promised. You know what I mean, to certain, you know, elect.
And that's why the Most High said that we will raise first. Yep. That dead and Mashiach will be raised first.
Right.
You know, so this is also keep your integrity.
Right.
Keep your integrity. You got it out.
Yeah, but for the rest of you guys, it's just gonna be a dishonorable death.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna go out sad. You know, and your legacy will follow you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You'll be like, you know what I mean, in the kingdom
with your head down.
Right. You know what I mean? You're gonna be blessed. You're gonna be a seed of the elect. You're gonna be a Jake. You're gonna be good. You're talented. You're gonna be right in your right mind.
Yeah.
But guess what? You're not gonna have that association with being right, like you just went into that in Baruch 2, where it listed the men, the high ranking. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's in that Ecclesiasticus chapter 40.
Right. That's why the Lord said, when he said the least in the kingdom, right? When you read, I want to say Matthew 5, the greatest in the kingdom, the least in the kingdom, roughly paraphrasing. I'll finish this out though. This is 2 Ezra 15 and verse 10. It says, "Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt," right? Because you niggas know that you're Israelites now.
Yeah.
So Pookie and Ray Ray, right? All these bug out niggas that are roaming the planet Earth, really America especially, all right, making embarrassing themselves, making Jake look bad. The Lord is not gonna suffer that forever. Mm-hmm. That's only a temporary phase. You know what I mean? The curses.
Yeah, come.
Verse, it's like
you got it.
I just got one more verse. My bad. 2 Ezra 15 and 11. It says, "But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm." Salvation. The angels, Yahweh.
And you can't shun this hand away anymore.
Yep.
This is going to happen.
Yep. Yeah. It says, "And smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof." And that shows you that this is talking about, America, spiritual Sodom Egypt, because Egypt's land wasn't destroyed completely. It was plagued.
Yeah.
Right. You read about those various plagues in the book of Exodus. We were delivered out of it, preserved. But the land, Egypt still went on to exist as a nation. America is not going to exist as a nation.
No, it's going to exist as a lake of fire.
Memorial.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was going to pull that Bible beside that Sirach 40 verse 3, just because we quoted it a couple times, might as well pull it.
What point do you want to do?
Verse 3, going into how the hierarchy.
Come. This is Sirach chapter 40 and verse 3. It says, "From him that sitteth on a throne of glory unto him that is humbled in earth and ashes." You may start up?
Yeah.
This is Sirach 40 and 1. It says, "Great travail is created for every man, and a heavy yoke is upon the sons of Adam."
So a heavy yoke,
Right.
You got it.
From the day that they go out of their mother's womb to the day that they return to the mother of all things.
Which is Jerusalem and the grave.
Yep.
All right. But you got it.
It says, verse 2, "Their imagination of things to come and the day of death trouble their thoughts and cause fear of heart."
All right. Because some people are going to die of fear of heart. Like whenever they see how Bashir Shai coming in that cloud, they're going to faint. Mm-hmm.
And it shows you too that yoke, the everlasting chains, is like death, the flesh, because we're not supposed to die.
No.
Wisdom of Solomon 2 and 23. The Lord created us to be immortals. So that's the main thing holding us back is this flesh.
And Yahweh Shai already conquered that.
Boom.
So now he's trying to get us to do the same thing, so we can all be on that level, in the kingdom.
Right.
But you got it.
Sirach 40 and 3, it says, "From him that sitteth on a throne of glory unto him that is humbled in earth and ashes, from him that weareth purple and a crown unto him that is cloth with a linen frock."
Yeah. So the rich,
Make a point, bro.
Nah. So the rich, of our people, like these idols and stars, and they're gonna get the same judgment, because of their wickedness. But you got it.
It says, verse 5, "Wrath and envy, trouble and unquietness, fear of death," right? It mentions that again.
Yeah.
It says, "And anger and strife, and in the time of rest upon his bed, his night's sleep, do change his knowledge."
Change his continent. because hey, what's that? You never know that you're in a fight until you get punched in the mouth. So
it's hard to think. It's hard to really be in the spirit when you're thinking of, like, you can't. That's why Romans 8, the spirit warreth against the flesh,
and like that Wisdom of Solomon chapter 9, how the flesh presses down the spirit.
Right.
Listen, paraphrasing.
Yeah.
But
that's those 2 Ezra 14.
Yeah.
Cast off the weak. Let me pull it real quick.
Yeah. Cast off the weak nature.
Yeah. Because that weak nature is not our. This nature is not our true nature.
Yeah.
It's a temporary nature. And that's what Yahweh Shah, was teaching to have faith in that and to believe in that, But this is 2 Ezra 14:14, and it reads, "Let go from thee mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man." Right, like we're reading.
Yeah.
This is going into the burdens of man, specifically the sons of Adam.
Yeah.
Right.
Or specifically the nation of Israel.
The elect.
Right. You Edomites, you other nations, y'all ain't gotta worry about this.
Right.
But you got it.
It says, "Let go from thee mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste to flee from these times. For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter."
So and that greater evil is Esau Edom setting up this whole hegemon, all right, and the judgment for it, because Yahweh Shemel has to execute swift judgment. But
you want to finish this?
Yeah, I'll sure.
This is Sirach 40:6. It says, a little or nothing is his rest, and afterward he is in his sleep, as in a day of keeping watch, troubled in the vision of his heart, as if he were escaped out of a battle. That's what is that? 2 Ezra 7.
Yeah.
This is the condition of the battle.
Yeah. So this right here shows you that no matter what level that you're on, you're still in the battle. All right. And no matter what level that you're on, all right, you still got to contend for the faith. All right. But that's all I got.
Let me see if I can actually find that real quick since I quoted it. It's 2 Ezra chapter 7, and I'll read. Yep, 2 Ezra 7 and verse 57. It says, "Then answered he me and said, This is the condition of the battle, which man that is born upon the earth shall fight, that if he be overcome, he shall suffer as thou hast said. But if he get the victory, he shall receive the thing that I say."
Yeah, crown of glory.
Yep.
As it says that with Solomon chapter 5, verse 15. Whenever Yahweh Shah was handing out those crowns.
Right.
All right. Because you endured unto the end, the same shall be saved. But that's all I got.
Okay. You gonna close it up?
Hey, with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Paradise. Double honor to the elders and apostles of the great millstone. The wife for listening. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.